My phone lit up at 2:17 a.m. like a goddamn fire alarm, and the text from my sister Chloe sliced me clean in half. Don't show up to the wedding. No explanation, no sorry, just those 4 words in all caps like she was screaming through the screen. I stared at it until the letters blurred, my chest caving in like someone kicked the wind out of me. We'd been thick as thieves since we were kids, scraping knees on the marble floors of Dad's Hampton estate, whispering secrets under $1,000 Egyptian cotton sheets while Mom sipped rosé downstairs with her latest boy toy. I was Ava freaking Sinclair, the spare heir, the one who always had Chloe's back when she crashed Dad's Bentley into the neighbor's koi pond at 16. And now? Erased. Ghosted. Canceled like a bad Netflix subscription. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard, ready to type, "What the F, Chloe?" But pride slammed the brakes. Nah, screw that. I wasn't begging. Instead, I opened the Delta app, fingers flying, and booked the first red-eye to Honolulu. One way, business class, because even heartbroken, I wasn't slumming it in coach. As the confirmation pinged, I felt the first spark of something darker than sadness. Something that tasted like revenge on the tip of my tongue. I didn't sleep. I paced my Tribeca penthouse, Louboutins clicking on heated Italian tile, packing a single Louis Vuitton trunk with bikinis, sundresses, and the black Amex Dad forgot existed after he wrote me out of the will for embarrassing the brand with my party girl phase. Joke's on him. I'd been clean for 2 years, running my own little boutique PR firm out of Soho, turning C-list influencers into A-list darlings. Chloe knew that. She'd bragged about me to her bougie bridal party, the same girls who now probably toasted to my exile with bottomless mimosas. I poured a finger of Dad's 1942 Don Julio, yeah, the bottle he kept locked in the study, and toasted the empty room. "To karma, bitch," I whispered, then slammed it back. The tequila burned, but not as bad as the memory of Chloe's last voicemail 2 weeks ago, all sugar. "Ava, you're my maid of honor, obs. I can't do this without you." Lies. All of it. I zipped the trunk, called an Uber Black, and left the key to the apartment on the kitchen island like I was never coming back. Maybe I wasn't. The flight was a blur of turbulence and tiny bottles of vodka. I posted a single Instagram story from 30,000 feet, sunrise over the wing, caption, "New zip code, who dis?" Knowing Chloe's stalker ass would see it, let her sweat. By the time we touched down in Honolulu, I'd already blocked her number, her fiancés, and every bridesmaid I could remember. The Hawaiian air hit me like a wet hug, hibiscus and salt and possibility. I rented a cherry red Mustang convertible at the airport because, why the hell not, threw my sunglasses on and cranked Post Malone so loud the palm trees shook. First up, the Royal Hawaiian, Pink Palace on Waikiki Beach, penthouse suite with an ocean view that cost more per night than most people's rent. I tipped the bellhop $100 just because I could. Room service brought me a poke bowl the size of my head and a bottle of Veuve, and I ate on the lanai watching surfers carve waves like they were born for it. For the first time in 48 hours, I breathed. But the rage, it simmered, low and steady, like a pot about to boil over. That night, I hit the hotel bar, a sleek joint called Mai Tais with tiki torches and bartenders who poured with flair. I was 3 sips into a lava flow when he slid onto the stool next to me. Tall, tan, trouble in a linen shirt unbuttoned just enough to show ink peeking above the collar. "You look like you're celebrating something," he said, voice smooth as the rum in my glass. I smirked.
"Or mourning." He laughed, flagged the bartender, then let me buy the next round for the plot twist. His name was Kai, local boy turned tech bro, sold his startup to Google for 9 figures and never looked back. We talked story, his word, until the bar closed. Then kept talking on the beach, barefoot in his sand, waves licking our toes. He didn't ask why I was really here, and I didn't offer. But when he kissed me under the moonlight, slow and hungry, I let him. For one night, I wasn't Ava Sinclair, disowned daughter, erased sister. I was just a girl with a stranger's tongue in her mouth and revenge plotting in the back of her brain. The next morning, I woke up alone. Kai gone, but a note on the pillow. Coffee on the lanai at 8. Bring bikini. I smiled, despite myself. Maybe Hawaii was the reset I needed. I spent the day ziplining over jungles, sipping fresh coconut water from a roadside stand, posting thirst traps that racked up likes faster than Chloe's wedding Pinterest board. By nightfall, I was back at the Royal, scrolling Zillow for beachfront condos like I was actually going to buy one. That's when the first crack appeared in my armor. My phone, on airplane mode since landing, finally connected to the hotel Wi-Fi. Notifications exploded. 47 missed calls, 23 texts, all from numbers I'd blocked, now showing as unknown. I didn't open them. Instead, I called the one person who'd never betray me, Uncle Theo, Mom's brother, the black sheep lawyer who handled Dad's dirtier deals. "Ava, sweetheart," he crooned when he picked up, New Orleans drawl thick as gumbo. "Heard your sister's nuptials are the talk of the town. You really bailed?" I laughed, bitter. "She told me not to come." Silence. Then a low whistle. "Well, damn, that's cold even for a Sinclair." I asked the question, burning a hole in me. "What aren't they telling me, Uncle T?" He hesitated. "Meet me in Maui tomorrow. Private jet. I'll explain everything." Click. He hung up before I could say yes. I should have known better to trust family, but curiosity is a hell of a drug. Kai picked me up at the private airstrip in a matte black G-Wagon. Aviators on, grin lethal. "Road trip?" he asked. I slid into the passenger seat. "Something like that." The flight was 40 minutes of champagne and turbulence. Uncle Theo waiting on the tarmac in a Panama hat and linen suit, looking like he stepped out of a Hemingway novel. He hugged me hard, smelled like cigars and Creed cologne. "You look good, kid. Son agrees with you." We piled into an Escalade, Kai in the back like he belonged. Uncle Theo eyed him. "Friend of yours?" I shrugged. "For now." Kai just smirked. We drove to a cliffside estate in Kapalua. All glass and infinity pools, the kind of place you rent when you want to disappear. Inside, Theo poured 3 fingers of Pappy Van Winkle and got straight to it. "Your sister's marrying into the Harringtons. Old money, older secrets. Word is, Chloe's been stepping out on that pretty boy Mason for months." My stomach flipped. "With who?" Theo's eyes glittered. "Guess." I shook my head. "No games." He leaned in. "Your ex. Dylan." Dylan Park, my college sweetheart, the one who proposed with a Tiffany ring I threw into the Hudson after I caught him with Chloe's tongue down his throat at our engagement party. That was 5 years ago. Ancient history. I downed the bourbon in one swallow. "You're telling me Chloe's cheating with my sloppy seconds and still had the balls to uninvite me?" Theo nodded. "But it gets messier. Mason's family's broke. Like Lehman Brothers broke. The wedding's a bailout. Sinclair money propping up Harrington name. Dad signed the prenup himself." I laughed, manic. "So I'm collateral damage to keep the brand shiny?" Pio's face softened. "There's more. Chloe's pregnant. Not Mason's." The room spun. Kai's hand found my knee under the table, grounding me. I stared at Theo. "Dylan's?" A nod. "She's passing it off as Harrington heir. If the truth leaks before the vows..." He trailed off. I finished for him. "Wedding's off. Money's gone. Reputation in the toilet." Theo raised his glass. "To karma." I clinked mine, the plan forming like storm clouds. I wasn't just ghosting the wedding anymore. I was going to burn it down from 5,000 miles away. That night, Kai and I stayed in the guest house, a sleek pod with floor-to-ceiling ocean views. We didn't sleep, we plotted. Kai had connections, hackers, PIs, the kind of people who could dig up dirt faster than page 6. "What do you want, Ava?" he asked, tracing circles on my bare shoulder. I stared at the ceiling. "I want her to feel what I felt. Erased. Alone. Begging." He kissed my collarbone. "Then let's make her sweat." By dawn, we had a burner phone, a fake Instagram for Maui mimosas with 200K followers Kai bought overnight, and a Dropbox link Theo sent with Chloe's medical records, proof of paternity, time-stamped. I didn't open it yet. I wasn't ready to see Dylan's name on an ultrasound. Instead, I posted a photo of the sunrise. Caption, "Some secrets sink ships. Others just sink sisters." Vague enough to sting, specific enough to trend. Within an hour, hashtag Sinclair scandal was climbing. Chloe's first DM came through a fake account. "Ava, call me, please." I screenshotted it, sent it to Kai with a devil emoji. Game on. The next 48 hours were a whirlwind of encrypted texts and midnight swims. Kai taught me how to scrub metadata, how to leak just enough to hurt without getting sued. Theo fed me intel from the mainland. Chloe panic-calling vendors, Mason's mom chain-smoking on the veranda of their Sag Harbor estate, Dad threatening to cut Chloe off if she didn't fix this. I felt zero guilt. This wasn't petty. This was justice, slow-roasted. On day 5, I flew commercial back to Oahu, Kai promising to hold the fort in Maui. At the airport, I unblocked one number, Mom's. She picked up on the first ring, voice brittle. "Ava, thank God, your sister's a wreck. The wedding's in 4 days and—" I cut her off. "Tell Chloe I'm in Fiji. No signal." Mom gasped. "But the dress!" "Burn it." I hung up, heart hammering. The lie tasted like victory. Back at the Royal Hawaiian, I treated myself to a spa day. Caviar facials, hot stone massages, the works. My phone stayed on Do Not Disturb, but I checked the burner. 110 missed calls now, mostly Chloe sobbing into voicemail I refused to play. The final one was Mason, voice shaking. "Ava, whatever you think you know, you're wrong. Meet me, please." I almost laughed. Dude was clueless. Instead, I texted back from the burner, "Check page 6 tomorrow." Then I ordered room service. Lobster roll, truffle fries, another bottle of Veuve, and toasted the mirror. To the bride who forgot blood is thicker than Botox. The bubbles went down easy. Too easy. That night, I dreamed of the wedding I wasn't attending. Chloe in her custom Vera Wang, veil trailing like a surrender flag, Dad walking her down the aisle, face tight as his prenup, me, somewhere tropical, sipping something strong while the organ played. But in the dream, the church doors burst open and Dylan stood there in a tux holding a baby. The congregation gasped. Chloe screamed. I woke up sweating, Kai's arm heavy across my waist. He stirred. "Bad dream?" I nodded. "Or a premonition?" He kissed my temple. "Then let's make it real." We spent the morning crafting the perfect leak. Ultrasound crop to show the date, Dylan's name redacted, but obvious, a single line of text, ask the bride who daddy really is. We scheduled it for 8 a.m. EST, right when the bridal brunch kicked off at the country club. I hit send, then turned my phone off. Whatever happened next, I'd earned my front row seat from paradise. The fallout hit faster than a nor'easter. By noon Hawaii time, my burner was blowing up with screenshots. Page 6 headline, screaming, "Sinclair wedding scandal, maid of dishonor spills tea from 5,000 miles away." Chloe's Insta went private. Mason's mom was unavailable for comment. Dad's PR team issued a statement about family matters best kept private. I laughed so hard I cried, mascara streaking my cheeks like war paint. Kai ordered us Mai Tais to the beach, and we toasted as the sun dipped low. "Phase 1 complete," he said. I clinked his glass. "Phase 2 starts when they beg." But as the sky bled orange, a tiny crack formed in my armor. What if Chloe really was sorry? What if the baby, my niece or nephew, deserved better than the circus? I shoved the thought down. Not yet. Not until she felt every ounce of the pain she served me. That night, the hotel threw a luau. Fire dancers, whole pig roasting, ukulele strumming under strings of lanterns. I wore a red sarong that hugged every curve, hair loose and wild. Kai couldn't keep his eyes off me. We danced until my feet hurt, until the rum made the world soft at the edges. Then my real phone buzzed. One call slipping through the cracks. Chloe. I stared at the screen, thumb hovering. Kai saw. You don't owe her shit. I knew he was right, but something in me, the part that remembered sleepovers and shared secrets, answered anyway. What? I snapped. Silence, then a broken sob. Ava, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean. Save it, I cut in. You erased me. Now live with the echo. I hung up, chest heaving. Kai pulled me close. You okay? I nodded against his shoulder. Getting there. But as the fireworks exploded overhead, I felt the first real tear slip. Not for her, for the sister I thought I had. The next morning, I woke to a text from an unknown number. We need to talk. In person. I'm in Honolulu. D. Dylan! My blood ran cold. How the hell did he find me? I showed Kai. His jaw tightened. Trap? I shrugged. Or opportunity? We met at a coffee shack in Hiliwan North Shore, far from the tourist traps. Dylan looked like hell, eyes bloodshot, designer stubble gone scruffy. He stood when he saw me, hands raised like I might bolt. Ava, please! I slid into the booth, Kai a shadow at my back. Talk fast. Dylan swallowed. It's not what you think. The baby, it's not mine. My laugh was sharp. Bullshit, I saw the records. He shook his head. Planted. Chloe's trying to frame me to keep Mason in line. The real father's... He stopped, glanced around. Look, I can prove it, but I need your help. I leaned in. Why should I trust you? His eyes, those lying blue eyes, met mine. Because I never stopped loving you. Kai's hand tightened on my shoulder. My heart stuttered. Lies! Had to be. But the hook was set. I left Dylan with a burner number and a warning. One wrong move, and you're done. Back at the hotel, Kai paced. He's playing you. I nodded. Maybe, but what if he's not? We spent the afternoon digging, Kai's hacker pulling Chloe's real medicals, cross-referencing dates. Turns out Dylan was telling the truth. The baby was Mason's after all. Chloe's affair was with someone else entirely. Someone I never saw coming. The name on the amended file made my stomach drop. Uncle Theo. My mother's brother. The one feeding me intel. The one flew me to Maui. Betrayal hit like a second text message, colder than the first. I stared at the screen until the letters blurred. Kai pulled me into his arms. What now, babe? I wiped my eyes, steel creeping back in. Now we flip the script. Chloe thinks she erased me? Wait till she meets the new Ava. But as I booked a red-eye back to the mainland, wedding eve, perfect timing, a new text pinged from Theo. Change of plans, sweetheart. Come home. We have a family matter to settle. Attached was a photo of Chloe in her wedding dress, eyes red, holding a positive pregnancy test. Caption, insurance policy. My blood boiled. He was holding my sister hostage with her own lie. Kai grabbed my hand. We end this together. I nodded, but doubt gnawed. How deep did the rock go? And how much of me would be left when the truth finally surfaced? The plane took off into the night, Hawaii shrinking below, and I whispered to the window, "See you at the altar, sis." Little did I know the real explosion was still coming, and it would level us all.
The jet's engines roared like my pulse as we sliced through the dark toward JFK. Kai's fingers laced through mine, his thumb tracing the vein that wouldn't quit jumping. I hadn't slept, hadn't eaten, just stared at the black ocean below and replayed Theo's text on loop. Insurance policy. Chloe in that dress, the one she FaceTimed me about from Kleinfeld, gushing how the lace was hand-stitched in Paris, how it cost more than my first car. Now it was a prop in whatever sick game Theo was running. My uncle, the guy who taught me how to sneak champagne at bat mitzvahs, who bailed me out when I got caught shoplifting MAC lipstick at 14. Blood didn't feel thick anymore. It felt poisoned. Kai squeezed. You sure about this? I nodded, throat raw. Gotta see her face when the house of cards collapses. He kissed my knuckles. Then I got your 6. God, I hoped that was enough. We landed at 5:47 a.m. EST, the sky over Queens bruised purple. air thick with jet fuel and regret. A blacked-out Suburban waited curbside. Theo's driver, Marco, stone-faced in a Brioni suit. "Miss Ava," he grunted, popping the trunk like this was any other pickup. I slid in back, Kai beside me, and Marco peeled out before the door shut. No small talk, just the partition rising and the scent of Cuban cigars clinging to the leather. My phone stayed off. I'd swapped SIMs in the Honolulu lounge. New number, new rules. First stop, the Sinclair compound in Old Westbury. 40 acres of manicured hell where I grew up dodging nannies and expectations. The gates swung open like they remembered my fingerprint, even if the family didn't. Dawn was breaking gold over the hedges when we rolled up the gravel drive, past the fountain shaped like a goddamn dolphin, past the guest house where Chloe and I once smoked our first joint and swore we'd run away to Ibiza. Lies. All of it. Mom met me at the porte-cochere in a silk robe and diamonds, eyes puffy like she'd cried through her La Mer night cream. "Ava," she breathed, reaching, but I stepped back. Her arms dropped. "Where's Chloe?" Mom's gaze flicked to Kai, then the house. "Bridal suite. She won't come out." I brushed past, heels clicking on the marble like gunshots. Up the grand staircase, past the portrait of Great-Grandpa Sinclair scowling down like he knew we were trash. The bridal suite door was cracked, soft sobs leaking out. I pushed in without knocking. Chloe sat on the window seat, veil pooled around her like a crime scene, mascara rivers down her cheeks. She looked up, eyes wide. "Ava?" Her voice cracked. I shut the door, leaned against it. "Surprise, bitch!" She flinched like I slacked her. "Good." She stood, dress rustling, belly barely showing under the corset. "I didn't want this. Theo, he said if I didn't cut you out, he'd tell Mason everything." I laughed, cold. "Everything like what? That you're knocked up with Uncle Theo's kid?" Her face went ghost white. "How? I'm not as dumb as you think, Chloe." I stepped closer, close enough to smell her diptyque perfume mixed with fear. "You erased me to save your ass, but you forgot I know where the bodies are buried. Literally." Her knees buckled. She grabbed the bedpost. "It was one time, after Dylan's engagement party. I was drunk. Theo was there. I wanted to vomit. He's Mom's brother," she sobbed. "I know. God, I know." I turned away. Couldn't look at her. "Where is he?" She whispered, "Library, with Dad." "Perfect. Showtime." Kai was in the hall, earpiece in, murmuring to his hacker. "We're live in 5, he said when he saw me. I nodded. "Plant the audio." He grinned, lethal. We'd bugged the library last night via drone. Tiny mic in the chandelier, courtesy of Kai's Silicon Valley toys. Whatever went down in there, we'd have it in 4K. I slipped downstairs, Kai shadowing. The library doors were ajar, Dad's voice booming. "You touch my daughter again, I'll bury you in the backyard with the labradoodles." Theo's laugh, oily. "Relax, Sinclair. The girl's fine. Wedding's tomorrow, money's wired, everyone wins." I peeked in, Dad behind the desk, face purple. Theo lounging in a leather wingback swirling brandy. Mason stood by the fireplace, pale as milk. "Where's Chloe?" he asked, voice small. Theo smirked. "Primping. You'll thank me later." Dad slammed a fist. "This ends now." Theo stood, slow. "Or what? You'll disown another kid? Ava's already gone. Chloe's next if you push." My blood iced. Dad's eyes flicked to the door, caught mine. For a second, something soft flashed. Regret? Too late. I stepped in, Kai behind me. "Morning, gentlemen." Theo spun, brandy sloshing. "Ava! Perfect timing." Dad's jaw dropped. "What the hell?" I cut him off. "Save the lecture, Dad. I'm here for the truth." Mason looked between us, confused. "Ava, thank God. Chloe's a mess. She said you—" I raised a hand. "Chloe's a liar, like all of you." Theo's smile didn't waver. "Careful, niece. Family sticks together." I laughed. "Funny, coming from the guy banging his niece?" Silence exploded. Dad lunged, but Kai was faster, grabbed his arm, whispered something that made Dad freeze. Theo's eyes narrowed. "You've been busy." I shrugged. "Had time in Hawaii. Nice place to plot." Mason finally spoke, voice shaking. "Is it true? The baby?" Theo sighed. "Kid's mine, but Mason's raising it. Keeps the Harrington name clean." Mason staggered back like he'd been shot. Dad roared, "You bastard!" and swung. Theo ducked, glass shattering. Kai pulled me back as security burst in. Marco and two goons. Chaos. I slipped out in the scuffle, Kai covering. Upstairs, Chloe was pacing, phone to her ear. She saw me, hung up. What's happening? I grabbed her wrist. We're leaving, now. She resisted. But Mason. Mason's about to learn you're a whore and Theo's a pedo. Move. She followed, dazed. We hit the service stairs, out the kitchen, into the garage. Kai had the Suburban idling. Go, he yelled. Tires screeched as we peeled out, gates crashing open. Chloe sobbed in the back. Where are we going? I didn't answer. My phone buzzed. Burner. Text from Theo. You can't run, Ava. I own you both. Attached was a video, me at 16, passed out at a party, Theo's hand on my thigh. My stomach lurched. Blackmail. Of course.
We ditched the Suburban in Jericho, switched to Kai's backup, a matte gray Tesla Plaid he'd stashed at a storage unit. Chloe was shaking, dress shredded from the escape. He has pictures of you too? She whispered. I nodded, throat tight. We're ending this. Kai drove us to a safe house in Locust Valley, a modernist box owned by his investor buddy. Inside, bulletproof glass, panic room, the works. He set Chloe up with tea and a blanket, then pulled me into the office. Audio's live, he said, plugging in. We listened. Dad threatening to call the FBI, Theo laughing about offshore accounts, Mason crying. Gold. But the video. Kai's jaw tightened. We nuke him. I nodded. But first, we find the source. His hacker traced the file, sent from a server in the Caymans, same one holding Dad's shell companies. Theo wasn't just a creep, he was the money behind the money. Night fell hard. Chloe crashed on the couch, exhaustion winning. Kai and I stayed up, mapping. Tomorrow's the wedding, he said. We crash it? I shook my head. We don't need to. We leak everything at noon. Audio, video, paternity. Let the guests choke on canapes. He kissed me. Slow. You sure? I wasn't. But the alternative was letting Theo win. No way. At 3 a.m., we sent the package to page 6, Radar, TMZ, every gutter rag with teeth. Subject line, Sinclair wedding exposed. Incest, blackmail, and a baby daddy from hell. I hit send, hands steady. Kai pulled me to the bedroom, stripped me slow, made me forget for an hour that the world was burning. His mouth on my skin, whispering, I got you, until I believed it. Morning came gray and angry. Chloe woke screaming from nightmares. I held her while she puked, the sister I used to know flickering under the mess. I didn't want this, she kept saying. I believed her. Didn't forgive her. My phone, new SIM, blew up. Dad, Ava, a homie. Mom, police are here. Mason, I'm done. And Theo, you'll regret this. I screenshotted everything, forwarded to Kai's lawyer. Then the news hit. CNN ticker, Hampton's wedding canceled amid shocking allegations. Twitter, X, was a bloodbath. Hashtag Sinclair sickos trending. Chloe stared at the TV, mute. I turned it off. It's over. She looked at me, eyes hollow. Is it? No, not yet. At 11:47 a.m., the doorbell rang. Kai checked the cam, Dylan looking like he'd slept in his car. I let him in. What the hell? He held up a flash drive. Proof Theo set me up. Bank records, emails. He paid the clinic to fake the paternity. Chloe gasped. I took the drive. Why help? Dylan's eyes met mine. Because I never stopped loving you.
And because Theo ruined us both. Kai bristled, but I squeezed his hand. We use it. Dylan nodded. There's more. Theo skipping to the DR tonight. Private jet from Teterboro. I smiled. Sharp. Not if we stop him. Kai was already calling favors, FBI contact from his Google days. Chloe stood. I'm coming. I started to argue, but she cut me. He's my monster, too. Fair. We rolled out at dusk, 3 cars deep, Kai's Tesla, Dylan's Range Rover, a decoy Uber Black. Teterboro was a ghost town, private jets lined up like toys. Theo's Gulfstream sat on the tarmac, stairs down, engines warming. We parked in the shadows. Kai's contact, Agent Ruiz, met us inside the FBO, badge flashing. You got 5 minutes before we move. I nodded. Chloe clutched my hand. We walked out bold, wind whipping hair. Theo saw us, froze mid-step. Ava. His smile was gone. Chloe. Bad form. Chloe stepped forward. You don't touch us anymore. Theo laughed, but it cracked. You think the feds scare me? I own half of DC. Ruiz cuffed him. As Marco tried to run, Dylan tackled him like a linebacker. Theo spat. You'll never prove. I held up the flash drive. Already did. The look on his face, pure terror, was better than any apology. Back at the safe house, Chloe curled into me on the couch, small like when we were kids. I'm sorry, she whispered. I let her cry. Didn't say it was okay. It wasn't, but maybe it could be. Kai poured whiskey, Dylan paced. Agent Ruiz called. Theo singing like a canary, implicating dad in tax fraud, mom in art smuggling. The empire was crumbling brick by brick. I posted one last thing from the Maui Mimosas account. A photo of the sunrise, caption, some families heal, others just burn brighter. Likes poured in. Haters, too. Didn't care. At midnight, Chloe fell asleep against my shoulder, belly round under the blanket. I stroked her hair, tears silent. Kai sat beside me. What now? I looked out at the dark. Now we rebuild. On our terms. But as the clock struck 1, a new text lit my burner, from a blocked number. You think Theo was the only one. Ask your father about the basement. My blood ran cold. The game wasn't over. It was just getting started.
The text glowed like a live wire in my palm. Ask your father about the basement. Blocked number, no trace, but the words sank claws into my gut deeper than Theo's betrayal ever did. I stared at it until the screen dimmed, Chloe's head still heavy on my shoulder, her breath soft and even for the first time in days. Kai saw my face, took the phone, read it, and his jaw went granite. We're not doing this tonight, he said, voice low so he wouldn't wake her. Dylan, pacing the safe house kitchen like a caged wolf, stopped cold. Basement? He echoed. Your dad's got a wine cellar the size of a bunker. That the one? I nodded, slow, memories flickering. Dad locking the door when we were kids, saying grown-up stuff. The way the staff avoided that wing after midnight. I always thought it was taxidermied egos and offshore ledgers. Now I wasn't sure I wanted to know. Kai killed the lights, set the alarm to fortress mode, and carried Chloe to the guest room like she weighed nothing. I followed, tucked her in, kissed her forehead out of muscle memory. She stirred. Ava? Sleep, Chloe. I'm right here. Lie. I was already halfway down the rabbit hole. Dylan poured 4 fingers of Dad's confiscated Macallan into crystal tumblers he found in the bar. To skeletons, he toasted, bitter. We clinked, drank, the burn grounding me. Kai pulled up floor plans on his laptop, Sinclair Estate blueprints he'd snagged from a shady architect buddy. The basement was marked storage, but there was a second level, sub-basement, no elevator, staircase hidden behind a false panel in the wine room. Motion sensors, biometric lock. Your old man's paranoid. I laughed, hollow. He taught us to be. Dylan's eyes met mine. We go at dawn, before the feds swarm the place. I nodded. Sleep was a pipe dream anyway. 4:17 a.m. We rolled out in the Tesla, silent as a hearse, Dylan in the passenger seat, Kai driving. I wore black leggings, black hoodie, hair in a knot, cat burglar chic. The gates were chained, NYPD tape fluttering like cheap streamers. We parked 2 blocks down, slipped through the service cut in the hedges Chloe and I used to sneak boys through in high school. The grounds were eerily quiet, floodlights off, just the moon painting the hedges silver. We ghosted to the east wing, Dylan boosting me over the veranda rail. I landed soft, heart hammering. Kai jimmied the French doors with a gadget that looked like a fancy garage opener. Inside smelled like old money and panic. Mom's perfume lingering, Dad's cigars lingering. We moved fast past the kitchen where the caterers had prepped for a wedding that never happened, down the back stairs to the wine cellar. Temperature dropped 10 degrees.
Bottles gleamed like soldiers in wrecks, 82 Lafitte, 61 Latour, liquid fortunes. Dylan found a panel behind a crate of Dom Perignon, pressed the hidden latch. Click. The wall swung inward on silent hinges, revealing a steel door with a retina scanner.
Shit, Kai whispered. I pulled a contact lens case from my pocket, Dad's spare, lifted from his bathroom years ago when I was still the favorite. He never changes habits. I popped the lens over my own eye, leaned in. Beep. Green light. The door hissed open. Stairs spiraled down into black. We clicked on pen lights, descended. The air turned metallic, damp. At the bottom, a hallway. Concrete. Lined with server racks humming like angry bees. Kai's eyes lit. Data center. Dylan whistled low. Your dad's running a dark pool. I didn't know what that meant, but the next door did. Frosted glass, biometric again, but this one took a thumbprint. Mine. Because of course it did. The room beyond was a nightmare wrapped in luxury. Leather couches, a bar, flat screens on every wall, cycling security feeds from the estate, the city, even my old Tribeca penthouse. In the center, a glass case like a museum exhibit lit from below. Inside, photos. Dozens. Me at 13 in a bikini on the yacht, Chloe at 15 passed out at a sweet 16, other girls, friends, cousins, strangers, some I recognized from tabloids, all underage, all compromised. My stomach lurched. Dylan cursed. Kai's face went murderous. He's been trafficking images, Kai said, voice type. Blackmail vault. But it got worse. A second case held hard drives labeled with dates, initials. One read AS 2017, my engagement year. I smashed the glass with the fire extinguisher, grabbed it. Kai was already jacking into the servers, downloading everything. 10 minutes, then we torch metadata and bounce. That's when the lights cut to red. Alarms silent, smart, so the neighbors wouldn't hear. A voice boomed from hidden speakers. Dad's, calm as Sunday brunch. Ava, you shouldn't have come. Doors locked with a thunk, gas hissed from vents. Kai swore, yanked a mask from his backpack. Only one. Hold your breath. Dylan smashed a window with a chair, but it was reinforced plexi. I clutched the drive to my chest, lungs burning. Kai slapped the mask on me, then Dylan's mouth. Share! We passed it, dizzy. 30 seconds felt like 30 years. Then Kai hot-wired the panel, sparks flying, door popping. We stumbled out up the stairs into the wine cellar. Fresh air hit like salvation. But Dad was waiting, shotgun in hand, flanked by 2 goons in tactical gear. End of the line, princess. He looked like hell, tie askew, eyes bloodshot, but the barrel was steady. You think you can destroy me? I stepped forward, mask dangling. You destroyed yourself, Dad. The feds have Theo. They'll have this too. He laughed, manic. Theo's a patsy. I built this empire on secrets, yours included. He nodded at the drive in my hand. That's nothing. Insurance. Dylan moved, but a goon clocked him with a rifle butt. Kai tensed. I raised my hands. Let them go. It's me you want. Dad's eyes softened just a flicker. You were always the smart one, Ava. Chloe's the pretty one, but you could have run it all. I spat blood, bit my tongue somewhere in the chaos. I don't want your blood money. He sighed. Then you don't leave. Kai moved like lightning, kicked the shotgun up, barrel to the ceiling. Plaster rained. I dove for Dylan, dragged him behind the racks. Gunfire popped, silenced. Professional. Kai took a graze on the arm, hissed, but kept moving. Dad shouted orders, voice cracking. We crawled through the bottles, glass shattering, wine flooding the floor like blood. I grabbed a broken neck, jagged edge. Stay close, I whispered. We hit the service corridor, slammed the door, Kai wedging a crate against it. Garage, he panted. We ran, Dylan limping. But Cullinan was there. Dad's bulletproof beast. Kai hot-wired it in seconds. Engine roared, garage door rising slow. Dad burst in,
alone now, goons down or fled. "Ava!" he roared. I met his eyes through the windshield. "Goodbye, Dad." Kai floored it. The Cullinan smashed through the half-open door, wood splintering. We peeled down the drive, gates already open, cops swarming, lights flashing. Agent Ruiz waved us through. Safe. For now. Back at the safe house, Chloe was awake, wrapped in a robe, eyes huge. What happened? I handed her the drive. Proof. Dad's been selling us for years. She stared at it, then me. I knew some, not all. Her voice broke. He made me pose, said it was for investors. Rage flared white hot. I pulled her into a hug, both of us shaking. Kai stitched his arm with a kit, teeth gritted. Dylan iced his head, silent. The TV blared. FBI raiding the estate, live. Dad in cuffs, Mom screaming from the balcony. The empire in ashes. But the text still haunted. Ask your father about the basement. We had. And the answer was a graveyard of innocence. By noon, the drives were with Ruiz, encrypted copies stashed in 3 countries. Page 6 had a field day. Sinclair basement horror. Tech mogul dad's secret vault of shame. Stocks tanked. Harrington's filed for bankruptcy. Chloe went live on Instagram. Veil off, no makeup, voice steady. My father abused his power. We're cooperating with authorities. No more secrets. Comments flooded. Support, hate, everything in between. I posted nothing. Just watched the world burn from the safe house deck, Atlantic gray and endless. Kai brought coffee. You okay? I shook my head. But I will be. Dylan joined us. Quiet. I'm out. After this, I'm done with your family. I nodded. Take care of yourself, Dee. He hugged me, quick, gone. That night, Chloe and I sat on the dock, feet in the water, moon fat and low. I should have told you, she said, about the text, about everything. I bumped her shoulder. We were kids, scared. She leaned her head on mine. What now? I looked at the stars. Now we heal. Then we help the others. Because there were others. Girls on those drives, some famous now, some broken. We'd find them. Ruiz called at 2 a.m. Dad lawyered up, but the evidence was ironclad. Theo flipped, gave up names. A ring, not just a man, bigger than we knew. I hung up, heart heavy but steady. Kai crawled into bed beside me, arm over my waist. Tomorrow, we fight. I nodded into the dark. Together. But at 3:33 a.m., my burner buzzed again. New message, same blocked number. Basement was child's play. Check the yacht. TikTok, Ava. Wedding's not the only thing canceled. Attached was a photo. Our family yacht. Siren's call. Docked in Montauk. And on the deck, a shadow that looked too familiar. I breath caught. Dad was in custody. Theo, too. So who the hell was still playing? Chloe stirred when I slipped out of bed. Ava? Go to sleep, I whispered. But as I stared at the screen, Kai already pulling up satellite feeds, I knew sleep was off the table. The game had levels we hadn't unlocked, and the next boss was waiting in the water. The photo on my burner was time-stamped 11:20 p.m., Montauk Harbor, the siren's call lit up like a Christmas float in July. The shadow on the flybridge had a silhouette I'd know blindfolded. Tall, broad, the way he always stood with weight on the left leg from that old polo injury. Mason Harrington, Chloe's almost husband, the guy who'd been crying in the library 24 hours ago like his world ended, except his world was apparently still spinning, and now it was dragging us back into the undertow. I zoomed in. The pixelation still caught the glint of the Rolex I'd helped Chloe pick out for his birthday. Same watch, same deck where we'd all toasted engagements and graduations and lies.
Kai was already on his laptop, polling marina logs, satellite passes, anything that breathed data. Boat left Sag Harbor at 1900, he muttered. Docked Montauk 45 minutes ago. No crew manifest. Chloe patted in wearing one of Kai's tees, eyes swollen but sharp. That's Mason's lucky sweater, she said, pointing at the screen. He only wears it when he's about to do something stupid. I barked a laugh that tasted like rust. Define stupid. We were wheels up by 0500. Kai's pilot buddy owed him a favor the size of Texas. The safe house faded behind us, Long Island Sound glittering black under the helo blades. Chloe clutched a thermos of coffee like a lifeline. Dylan had bailed at dawn with a duffel and a call if you need a body buried text. Smart guy. The flight was 30 minutes of rotor roar and my pulse sinking to it. I kept replaying Mason's voicemail from yesterday. Ava, whatever you think you know, you're wrong. Wrong, my ass. We touched down on a private pad in East Hampton, swapped the bird for a matte black Urus Kai had stashed in a barn. Chloe rode shotgun, I took the back. Burner on my lap cycling encrypted messages from Ruiz. Feds seized the estate servers, Dad singing TO2, but the yacht's registered to a Cayman's shell, no eyes on Harrington. I forwarded it to Kai. He just nodded, eyes on the road, knuckles white on the wheel. Montauk Highway was empty this early, just delivery trucks and gulls. We hit the harbor at 06:15, salt air slapping us awake. The Merino was a ghost town, slips full, nobody moving. Siren's call sat at the end of D-Dock, 120 feet of white fiberglass and bad memories. No lights on deck now, but the salon glow leaked through tinted glass. Kai killed the engine 2 slips over, behind a terrace that blocked the sightline. Thermal, he said, pulling a handheld FLIR from the glove box. Chloe took it, scanned. 2 heat signatures, one on the flybridge, one below. Flybridge is pacing. Mason. The other? Unknown. I checked my Glock, Kai's spare, loaded, safety off. Chloe saw, eyes wide. You're not asking permission, I cut in. We moved like shadows, sneakers silent on the teak dock. The yacht's gangway was down, no bouncer. Sloppy. Or bait. Kai took point. I covered rear, Chloe between us like a civilian we couldn't afford to lose. We boarded at the aft deck, the familiar creak underfoot making my stomach flip. Smell of teak oil and money. Always money.
Inside, the salon was trashed. Cushions slashed, bar bottles smashed, the Baccarat decanter I'd bought Dad for his 50th in shards. Someone had rage quit hard. Footsteps overhead, deliberate. Mason. Kai motioned. You two down, I'll take Kai. I nodded, led Chloe to the companionway. Below decks smelled like diesel and desperation. The master stateroom door was cracked, light spilling. I nudged it with the barrel. Empty, bed torn apart, safe yawning open. Paper scattered. Passports, bearer bonds, a flash drive in a Ziploc. I pocketed it. Chloe whispered, guest cabin. We moved. Door locked. I shoulder-checked it, cheap interior, gave on the second hit. Inside, a girl, maybe 19, zip-tied to the bed frame, gag in her mouth, eyes wild. Not Chloe's bridesmaid, not anyone I knew. Track marks on her arms, designer dress 2 sizes too big, trafficked. My vision tunneled red. Chloe gagged, turned away. I cut the ties with my pocket knife, pulled the gag. Can you walk? She nodded. Trembling. They said I was collateral. Collateral for what? Gunshot overhead. Muffled, subsphonic. Kai. We bolted up the stairs, girl between us. Flybridge access was through the pilot house. Door blasted open, smoke curling. Mason stood over Kai, who was on his knees, blood dripping from his temple, Mason's .38 shaking in his hand. Ava, Mason said, voice cracked. You weren't supposed to... I raised the Glock. Drop it. He didn't. Chloe stepped forward. Mace, look at me. His eyes flicked, wet. I didn't know about the girls, Chloe. I swear. Your dad, he said it was just money laundering. Then Theo... Another shot. This one from the shadows. Mason dropped, chest blooming red. The girl screamed. Kai lunged, tackled the shooter. A woman, mid-30s, blonde bob, cold eyes. Mason's sister, Leela. I'd forgotten she existed. She fought like a feral cat, nails raking Kai's face.
I kicked the .38 away, zip-tied her with the ones she'd used on the girl. Mason gurgled, blood bubbling. Chloe knelt, cradling his head. "Why?" she sobbed. He coughed. "Dad's bankrupt. Theo promised a way out, said burn the evidence, frame Ava. I wanted to save us." His eyes found mine. "I'm sorry," then gone. Just like that. Sirens wailed. Ruiz, finally. We stumbled on deck as Coast Guard cutters boxed the yacht, floodlights blinding. The rescued girl was whisked to a medic, Leela cuffed and screaming about diplomatic immunity. Kai's head was bleeding, but he waved off the paramedic, superficial. Chloe wouldn't let go of Mason's body until they pried her off. I stood at the rail, wind whipping, the flash drive burning a hole in my pocket. Kai took it, plugged into his phone. Files, shipping manifests, bank wires, photos, dozens of girls, ports from Miami to Marseille, and one video, dated last week. Dad on the yacht, Theo pouring champagne, Mason in the corner looking green. Dad's voice. Phase 2 launches after the wedding. Ava takes the fall. Chloe is the grieving widow. We reboot the brand in Ibiza. My knees buckled. Kai caught me. They were going to pin everything on you, disappear you. Chloe overheard, face crumpling. Dad wanted you dead? I nodded, numb. Insurance policy.
Ruiz boarded, took statements, confiscated the drive. This goes federal. Human trafficking. Murder for hire. Your father's looking at life. Theo, too. I asked about the girl. She's from Odessa, one of 20 on the last container. We'll get them. Chloe hugged me, shaking. I can't believe he... Believe it, I said. We're done being pawns. The sun was up now, gulls screaming, the harbor waking up to the circus. Paparazzi drones buzzed overhead. I flipped them off. Kai pulled me close. We're out. Clean break. I nodded, but the burner in my pocket buzzed again. New number, same tone. Yacht was the appetizer. Check the vineyard. Napa. Ask your mother why the Cabernet tastes like guilt. Attached, a photo of Mom in the barrel room smiling at a man who wasn't Dad. The man from the basement photos, great-grandpa's old partner, presumed dead 30 years. My blood went Arctic. Mom wasn't a victim. She was the architect. We flew commercial this time, first class, because even in chaos, I wasn't sitting middle. Napa by noon Pacific, rental G-Wagons screaming up Silverado Trail. The Sinclair Vineyard was 400 acres of Cabernet and secrets, gates open for harvest crush. Workers everywhere, none looked up. Mom's villas sat at the crest, all glass and views. We rolled in hot, dusk clouding. She met us on the terrace in linen and sunglasses, rosé in hand like nothing happened. Darlings, she purred, heard about the yacht. Tragic. Chloe slapped the glass from her hand, shatter on tile. You knew. Mom didn't flinch. I know a lot of things. I stepped forward. Like how great-grandpa's partner faked his death and ran girls through the winery? Her smile faltered. Careful, Ava. Some vines grow deep. Kai was already inside, hacking the office safe. Chloe grabbed Mom's arm. How many? Mom sighed. Enough to keep the lights on. I wanted to scream, but the burner buzzed. Cellar, now, or the next container leaves tonight. We ran. The barrel room was cathedral cool, oak and mold and money. Kai found the false wall behind the 82s. Same retina trick, my eye again. Door hissed, stairs down to hell. Shipping containers, refrigerated, humming. 20 girls inside the first. Sedated, IVs dripping. Chloe vomited. Ruiz called Rentis, federal teams en route. I kept moving. At the end, a steel door, keypad. Mom's voice behind us, calm. You're too late. She held a detonator. One press, the mountain caves. Evidence gone, girls too. Chloe lunged. I tackled her back. Kai raised his hands. Put it down, Mrs. Sinclair. Mom laughed. You think I'm the monster? I saved this family. Your father was weak, Theo greedy. I built the network. I met her eyes, and sold your daughters for it. She hesitated. That was enough. Chloe grabbed a bottle, smashed it over Mom's head. Detonator clattered away.
Mom crumpled, blood in her perfect hair. Fed swarm 20 minutes later. Choppers, SWAT, the works. Girls airlifted to hospitals. Mom cuffed, still smiling. You'll never untangle it all. Maybe not, but we'd try. Chloe and I sat on the terrace at sunset, workers gone, valley quiet. She poured 2 glasses from a 19 Reserve, last honest bottle probably. To the end, she said. I clinked. Or the beginning. Kai joined us, arm bandaged, face grim. Ruiz says the network spans 3 continents. Your mom was the U.S. hub. I nodded. Then we take it down, piece by piece. Chloe leaned on me. Together? Together. But as the stars came out, my burner lit one last time. Napa was a branch, the roots in Palm Beach. Ask Ava why she really left New York 5 years ago. My heart stopped. Palm Beach. My old life. The accident. The secret I'd buried deeper than any basement. Kai saw my face. Ava? I swallowed. There is one more level. And this time, the monster was me.
The burner screen dimmed on that single line. Ask Ava why she really left New York 5 years ago. And the Napa night folded in on itself like a bad acid flashback. Palm Beach. The words tasted like copper and chlorine. The pool at the breakers, where everything went sideways. I'd buried that night under layers of Hawaii sun and revenge plots. But secrets are like wine stains. Scrub all you want, the ghost stays. Chloe's hand found mine across the terrace table, her fingers ice despite the valley heat. Ava, talk to me. Kai stood behind her, arms crossed, the bandage on his forearm already spotting red again. I opened my mouth, but nothing came. 5 years of muscle memory clamping my throat shut. The burner buzzed again. Photo this time. Me at 23, standing on the breaker's seawall, white dress plastered to my thighs, blood on my hands that wasn't mine. Caption, TikTok. The root remembers. My knees gave. Kai caught me before I hit the slate. We were airborne by 0200 Pacific. Kai's jet fueled and filed for PBI. Chloe refused to stay behind. Not after Napa, not ever. So she sat across the aisle in yoga pants and one of Kai's hoodies, eyes locked on the black outside the window. I couldn't look at her. Couldn't look at anyone. The Glock rode in my waistband like a tumor. Kai handed me a tumbler of something amber. I waved it off. Need my head clear. He nodded, didn't push. The flight was 4 hours of turbulence and silence, my pulse sinking to the engines. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the pool lights flickering under the surface, the way the water turned pink. I'd told myself it was an accident, told the cops, told Dylan, told the therapist I ghosted after 3 sessions. But accidents don't send anonymous texts 5 years later. We touched down at 0550 Eastern, the Florida humidity slapping us like a wet towel. Kai had a safe condo in West Palm, penthouse, oceanfront, owned through 7 LLCs, no Sinclair name anywhere near it. The doorman didn't blink. Money talks louder than blood. Inside, the place was all white marble and blackout shades. Chloe beelined for the shower. Kai set up shop at the dining table, laptops blooming like evil flowers. I stood on the balcony, salt wind whipping my hair, staring at the breakers a mile south, its pink facade glowing in the dawn like a fresh bruise. My phone, new burner, new sins, pinged with a pin drop. Goodland Marina, slip 42. Sirens, song 2. Dad's backup yacht, the one nobody talked about because it was Mom's retreat. I showed Kai. He said, "We go in dark. No feds, no backup. This is personal." I nodded. Personal was the only currency left.
I took the companionway alone, key card trembling in my fist. The master was forward, door cracked, pink light spilling. I pushed in. The room was a shrine. Photos on every wall. All me. Me at 16 on the yacht. Me at 21 graduating Dartmouth. Me the night of the accident, dress soaked, eyes hollow. And in the center, on the bed, a girl. Not sedated. Awake. Staring.
She looked exactly like me at 23. Same cheekbones, same green eyes, same terrified half smile. My clone. My ghost. Ava, she said, voice mine but younger. They told me you'd come. I couldn't breathe. Who are you? She sat up, chains clinking around her ankles. Your sister, the one they kept. My knees hit the deck. Sister! Not possible! Mom had miscarriages, sure, but they paid a surrogate, she said, reading my face. Raised me in Eleuthera. Said you were the spare. I was the spare. Then Dad needed a faux guy who looked like you. The accident. The blood. It clicked. Horrific. You were driving that night. She nodded, tears spilling. They drugged you, put me behind the wheel. Hit and run. The girl in the crosswalk, some senator's aide. I panicked, ran. They cleaned it up, pinned it on you. You left town to protect the family. I vomited on the teak. Footsteps behind me. I spun, Glock up. Mom! In linen, same as Napa, detonator in one hand, pistol in the other. Clever girl, she said, but blood recognizes blood. The clone, my sister, flinched. Mom's eyes flicked to her. Amelia, behave. Amelia. My throat closed. Mom stepped closer. You were always the loose thread, Ava. Too smart, too mouthy. We needed a scapegoat who'd run. You obliged. I steadied the gun. And Amelia? Mom smiled cold. Insurance. A perfect double if you ever came back swinging. The detonator beeped. 30 seconds. Yachts wired, scuttled in international waters. No bodies, no questions. I lunged for Amelia's chains. Mom fired. Bullet grazed my shoulder. Hot iron. I dove behind a bed, returned 2 rounds. Missed. Mom laughed. You won't kill your mother. Watch me. The door exploded inward. Pie, Chloe, flashbangs rolling. Smoke choked the cabin. I grabbed Amelia, dragged her toward the chaos. Mom screamed, detonator raised. Chloe tackled her, nails raking, both crashing into the dresser. Kai disarmed Mom clean, zip ties snapping. The countdown hit 10. Kai yanked the detonator, smashed it under his boot. Charges are below waterline. We swim. We ran. Me half carrying Amelia, Chloe limping, Kai covering rear. Aft deck, dive gear stashed like they planned this. We hit the water as the first charge blew, siren song 2, lifting like a breaching whale. The concussion slammed us under, salt burning the grays. I kicked up, Amelia's hand locked in mine. Chloe surfaced coughing, Kai already towing her toward the trawler we'd parked behind. We climbed aboard as yacht folded in half, fire licking the sky. Coast Guard would call it a gas leak. Mom's last lie. Back at the condo, Amelia showered for an hour, came out in my clothes looking like a mirror that hadn't shattered yet. Chloe made pancakes nobody ate. Kai stitched my shoulder, silent. Ruiz called. Mom in federal custody, singing about surrogates and shell companies. Amelia's DNA will match. She's yours. I nodded, numb. Amelia sat beside me, tentative. I didn't want any of this. I took her hand. Me neither. Chloe poured orange juice, voice soft. We have a sister. I laughed, cracked. Family meeting from hell. The burner, last one, I swore, buzzed on the counter. I almost ignored it. Couldn't. Final message. Palm Beach was the route, but roots feed trees. Check the cloud. Password AVA 2019. Kai plugged in, found the server, Sinclair Family iCloud, hidden partition, thousands of files. Not just photos, videos, live feeds. Girls in containers, girls in mansions, girls who looked like us, and one folder labeled Succession. Inside, my medical records, fertility charts, egg retrieval logs, dated last year, while I was in Hawaii. They'd harvested me, without consent, to breed more doubles, more fall guys, more heirs. I screamed until my voice gave out. Chloe held me. Amelia cried, silent. Kai smashed a laptop, then held us all while the pieces settled. Dawn bled pink over the Atlantic, same color as the breakers, same color as blood in pool lights. I wiped my face. No more running. Chloe nodded. Amelia squeezed my hand. Kai kissed my temple. Then we cut the tree down, every branch. We had the cloud, the DNA, the survivor testimonies. Ruiz was building a RICO case that would bury empires. But first, we slept. 4 bodies on one king bed, tangled like we'd never been apart. When I woke, Amelia was tracing the scar on my shoulder. "We're free now," she whispered. I wanted to believe her. That night, we leaked everything. Cloud dump to every major outlet, anonymous tour drop, hashtag Sinclair route trending before dessert. The world woke to headlines. America's royal family trafficked its own daughters. Stocks cratered, politicians distanced, the Harringtons lawyered up and vanished. Dad and Mom shared a cell block photo that went viral. Theo hanged himself in holding. Official story. We didn't buy it. Chloe went on GMA, no makeup, voice steady. We were products. Now we're people. Amelia stood beside her, first time in daylight. I watched from the condo, Kai's arm around me. My phone, real one, finally, rang. Dylan. "Saw the news. You okay?" I laughed, wet. "Getting there." He paused. "I kept the ring, the one you threw in the Hudson. Cleaned it. If you ever—" I looked at Kai, at Chloe laughing with Amelia over burnt toast. "Keep it, D. Some things stay sunk." Click. But at 11:11 p.m., the condo's smart TV flickered on by itself. Black screen, white text. "Trees down, but seeds scatter. See you in court, Ava. -E." Not Amelia.
Someone else. Another initial. Another branch. Kai's hacker traced the signal, bounced through Starlink, dead end. Chloe's face went white. "There's more of us." I nodded, the graze on my shoulder throbbing like a heartbeat. Court. They wanted a stage. Fine, we'd give them one. I opened the balcony door, let the ocean roar in. "Round 6, I whispered to the dark, but this time, we write the ending. Amelia joined me, barefoot, fearless. Chloe too, Kai behind us, solid. The 4 of us against whatever crawled out of the roots next. The hook was set deep, and it wasn't letting go until justice bled. The courtroom smelled like lemon polish and fear, the kind that clung to mahogany and $100 suits. Southern District of New York, Judge Harlan's chamber, biggest RICO circus since Gotti. Mom sat at the defense table in orange silk that cost more than the bailiff's yearly salary, hair perfect even under prison dye. Dad beside her, thinner, eyes dead. Theo's seat empty. Official suicide, but we knew better. Across the aisle, Chloe, Amelia, me. Kai in the gallery, suit sharp, tablet glowing with live feeds. No press inside, but X was a wildfire. Hashtag Sinclair trial, trending global. The anonymous E had promised court. Here we were. Prosecutor Lang, Harvard sharp Carolina Steele, stood. Your Honor, the United States calls Ava Sinclair. My legs didn't shake. I'd rehearsed this in the mirror until the words tasted like truth. Sworn in, I met Mom's eyes. She smiled, small, like we were still brunching at Les Bilboquet. I didn't smile back. Miss Sinclair, Lang began, describe the night of July 14th, 2019. I inhaled. I was drugged at the Breakers, Rohypnol in my rosé. I woke up in the passenger seat of my own Tesla. Amelia, my sister, raised in secret, behind the wheel. She'd been told to drive. A pedestrian, Clara Dumont, 24, crossed Ocean Boulevard. Amelia swerved, clipped her. Clara died on impact. My parents staged it as my hit and run. I fled to protect the family. They let me.
Gasps rippled. Mom's lawyer shot up. Objection! Speculation!
Defense tried, painted us as spoiled brats, revenge fantasies. But Lang had the DNA. Amelia's matched mine, 99.999%. Had the wire transfers, the survivor testimonies streaming in from 3 continents. Had the yacht black boxes recovered from the scuttle, audio of Mom laughing about pruning the family tree. Closing day, Lang dropped the bomb. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sinclairs weren't just traffickers. They bred heirs for leverage. Ava and Amelia were prototypes. There are 7 more in custody. Clones, surrogates, all under 18. The route wasn't Palm Beach. It was legacy. Jury out 43 minutes. Guilty. All counts. Mom's face finally cracked when the foreman said, human trafficking. Dad just stared at the table. Life, no parole, consecutive. The gavel hit like a starting gun. Outside, cameras flashed. Chloe grabbed my hand, Amelia the other. It's over, Chloe whispered. I nodded, but the burner in my pocket, last one, buzzed. I almost threw it into the fountain. Didn't. Message. Congratulations. But every tree drops seeds. E. Attached, a birth certificate. Name redacted, DOB, yesterday. Mother, AS. My eggs. Harvested in Hawaii. My knees buckled. Kai caught me, read it, face grim. We find the lab. Chloe's eyes blazed. And the kid, Amelia squeezed. Our family now? We didn't go home. Flew to Grand Cayman, offshore trusts that funded the surrogacies. Kai's hackers had the address, a fertility clinic masked as a spa. We landed at dusk, rented a cigarette boat, hit the dock guns blazing, figuratively. Inside, white coats scattering, incubators glowing, 7 infants, all girls, all with my cheekbones. And 1 woman in scrubs holding the newest, my biological daughter, swaddled in Sinclair monogram. You're too late. The network's decentralized. Cells in Prague, Dubai, Buenos Aires. I took the baby, my baby, her tiny fist around my finger. Not for her. Chloe disarmed the woman. Amelia found the server room, wiped it clean. Kai planted a virus. Every donor file, every embryo log, fried. We left with the kids, the woman zip-tied for Interpol. The clinic burned behind us, courtesy of a gas leak and a match. Back in the States, we set up a foundation. Rootless. Safe houses, adoptions, therapy. The 7 clones, now Lily, Rose, Ivy, etc., grew up calling us mom. My daughter, Harper, had Kai's eyes, somehow, even if biology said no. Chloe married a pediatrician who didn't care about tabloids. Amelia went to Yale, pre-med, determined to fix what broke us. E never surfaced. Turned out to be Dr. Elena Wass, Mom's OB, the architect of the surrogacy ring. She'd vanished after the trial, plastic surgery in Thailand, new name. We found her 2 years later running a black market clinic in Moldova. Local cops, tipped by Rootless, raided at dawn. She hanged herself in holding. Same as Theo, pattern.
Dad died in ADX Florence, shanked over cigarettes. Mom lasted longer, supermax poetry about legacy. Her last letter, you pruned the giri, but I planted the orchard. I burned it. Harper turned 4 on a beach in Maui, same pink palace where it started. She chased waves, laughing, no idea her aunts were once pawns. Chloe toasted with virgin pina coladas. Karma's a patient bitch. Amelia splashed Harper, shrieking. Kai pulled me close. We won! I looked at the horizon, sun bleeding gold. We survived. No more burners, no more texts. The network's cells dried up. Rootless choked the funding. Testimonies buried the rest. Page 6 ran our wedding. Mine and Kai's. Small, barefoot, Harper as flower girl. Headline, From Scandal to Sunrise. I framed it. But justice isn't clean. Some nights I still wake tasting chlorine, seeing Clara Dumont's face in the crosswalk. I visit her grave every July 14th, leave lilies. Her mom hugs me now, calls me daughter. Forgiveness is heavier than revenge, but it fits. The orchard? We raised it. Planted something new. Mango trees, stubborn roots, fruit for anyone hungry. Harper eats the first one, juice on her chin, and I know, the cycle ends here. Blood doesn't win. Choice does.
And if another E ever texts, I'll be waiting with a lighter.
If this story touched your heart or made you feel every twist of pain and justice, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Your support means everything and keeps these emotions alive on screen. And before you go, leave your valuable thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how this story made you feel.